So we just watched Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
I finally learned how to say it. I remember during our live streams I could never say it. But now I can say it with proudness in my voice. Confidence. There we go. Yeah.
After you've seen him fully naked, you should be able to say his name.
Okay, I'll just say that I was disappointed with the Nosferatu dick, okay? Because
really,
people were making it like it was a big deal, like that it was like up close and like I don't know, people just made it sound like it was like a big focus point, you know? But I mean, it was like from a distance and it was a very quick scene. And so for me, I don't know, I felt like that was not relevant.
It wasn't no Harvey Keitel and Bad Lieutenant. I'll say that.
It was not relevant to me.
It wasn't Jason Segel and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. There's
right. Or what's the movie Walk Hard? There's a dick scene in that.
I love that movie.
Yeah. It's just like right there. That's like when you're going to talk about a dick scene, like I want to see it real close, like flopping around, like
Scary Movie.
Like Ken's in the bedroom and I can see it.
Wow.
But yeah, to me it looked like a CGI part.
Let's just do the whole review of Nosferatu where we're talking about the dick scene.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'm not impressed with your dick, Nosferatu, okay?
Wow.
I know you're like really old and stuff, but
no, he's gonna enchant you.
Take
over you.
So anyway, yeah, Nosferatu. So I know that you really like this director.
I love Robert Eggers.
I would say for the most part, I do not. He has just like a very...
You still need to watch The Lighthouse to form your full opinion.
He has a very particular style, which I think is great for a director. Like you need your own style to stick out.
An auteur filmmaker is what they say, which is pretty much you have your distinct style. That's distinct from everybody else.
Yeah, so I can definitely appreciate that because, you know, who wants to just like blend in with the masses?
His attention to detail and his ability to be able to capture like what it was like to be in these time periods is unparalleled. Like nobody else can do what he does. I mean, there's been directors that have been able to do that in the past, but I just feel like he takes it to the next level. With his costume design, set design.
He's a youngerish guy.
Yeah, I mean, he does his research.
Probably what, 40s?
Like, he'll read so many books on this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's probably in his early 30s by now. Or no, early 40s, I would say. Okay. I still think he's pretty young, though. He might be my age, to be honest, which is very depressing.
Oh, so now you think you're young. Which is it? Are you old or are you young?
Old. Oh, okay. But when I'm talking about somebody in their late 30s, I think that's young.
Okay.
So,
well, maybe you should keep that in mind. Yeah. So I don't know. I felt like for the most part, this movie was boring. And I feel like at the end of the day, it did not offer anything new about the story that we've heard a million times.
Yeah, that was kind of my problem to it. It's like I've seen Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Right.
It follows a very similar template. And of course, there's also influences from the older Nosferatu from the 20s and also Dracula 1931. It's almost like a greatest hits, it feels like, of like every Dracula story that we've seen.
In this movie, right?
Just
it was like he took stuff from every version and like tried to make it his own.
Just kind of done in this super pretentious, artsy way.
Yeah.
Which I can usually get down with. And I mean, I like the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be one I need to revisit in a few years. Just kind of remove myself from all the chatter because, you know, a lot of people seem to love this movie, praise it, all that stuff. It's definitely like just right now talking about it, it's my least favorite movie he's done. Just in terms of just how engaged and interested I was in it.
Yeah.
Watching it. I think The Northman's a better film. And I think The Lighthouse and The Witch are just like masterpieces. His work with A24, like on the more independent level, is his strongest stuff to me.
Yeah.
And this more like studio stuff with Universal, The Northman, this one is his weakest. It almost feels like, I mean, most people wouldn't think this is a bad thing, but it just feels a little bit too overly produced, a little too like studio. And I like him more like stripped of all that money and stuff and just telling these more grounded original stories, because The Lighthouse and The Witch are original stories,
right?
Whereas The Northman and this are kind of drawing from other material.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just said that maybe he loves Dracula or something, and that's why he wanted to do it.
And his next movie's going to be like a werewolf movie, like a period piece. And he said,
like we need another one of those.
He said he will never do a movie in modern times. He's like, the thought of having to film somebody with a cell phone makes him sick to his stomach. So he's like, I'm always going to be doing period piece movies, which is fine. You know, he's good at it. Like, you can't say he's not good at it. But yeah, it was okay. Everybody was good. But
see, to me, you know, you could say that it was because of the time era that they were in, but I wasn't down with like this exaggerated, the way that they talked, you know.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
I don't know, like what's her name? Lily
Rose Depp.
Lily Rose Depp. You know, I don't know. She's basically acting like what's her name from The Exorcist?
The
one that's
Linda Blair.
That's the character's name? Linda?
Reagan.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like she was, you know, it's like an exorcism is happening on her. There's lots of like contorting and, you know, eyes rolling back in her head, and you know she's being
she's been taken and enchanted and seduced by Nosferatu at a very young age, and then he kind of leaves her with that for her whole life.
I don't know. It's just very like over the top to me. As far as the performances went, it was like it was just a little too heavy. Like, try a little less. It just felt like they were trying too hard to really like fit that time period, if that makes sense. You know, I love Nicholas Hoult, but I feel like, you know, and I'll just go ahead and be honest. I did not finish this movie. How much was left?
You missed like the last 25 minutes.
Okay. So I didn't get to see
there's a lot of stuff that happened in the last 25 minutes.
Right. I didn't get to see, you know, the conclusion. So I'll just throw that out there. But for me, Nicholas Hoult's character, it's like he's I don't know, it's like he is a big part of it, but it's like he wasn't as well. I don't know, like he's the one that has to like go to Nosferatu's, you know, home. And I don't know, I just felt like he was always kind of like
on the sidelines.
Yeah, even though he was like a big part of it.
Well, I'd say Lily Rose Depp was a pretty big part of it as well. So it was kind of split between the two of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was talking about this a little bit with you. The performances are good, and this is going to sound weird, but they're almost too good. You know, everything's almost like too accurate. And when you compare it to other stuff like Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I think is the most direct comparison you can make, I just don't find these performances or these actors like memorable. It's like, I remember Keanu Reeves in that role. It's like, I don't think anything Nicholas Hoult does here, like, he's just too good. He like blends in too well. And it's like, nothing here is like memorable to me.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary Oldman as Dracula is just like all time one of the most iconic, like, visual, you know, Draculas ever. And it's like, Bill Skarsgård's Nosferatu, I don't feel like it's going to stand the test of time like he does.
Well, we had talked about how you know, it's like a thing where Nosferatu looked like Jim Carrey's character in Sonic, and I mean, he does. Like, I'm not sure if I liked the way that he looked. Just
but apparently that's accurate, you know. But does that make it a good? Because that's a book and this is a movie. Does that make it a good? You know, sometimes you got to make some concessions to like translate something to the cinematic form, and things can't always be the most accurate. It's almost like this movie was just too good at doing everything.
Well, maybe that's what I meant by like
the movie magic of it, right? You know,
yeah. Maybe that's what I meant by just like over the top. Like it was just too much. Like it was too.
And objectively, Nicholas Hoult is a better like actor in this kind of role and environment than Keanu Reeves. But again, I'm just going to remember Keanu Reeves' character more. I just feel like he has more memorability to him. Winona Ryder more so than Lily Rose Depp, even though like she's trying her ass off.
I'm not sure if that's like a fair
It's
I mean, like
not. It's the most direct comparison. Like this,
well,
I
I'm
think
just
draws the
saying,
most
like,
from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
you also have to remember that that might be a little nostalgic for you. And so, in your opinion, you think that those are more memorable. But is it because that they're actually better or more well done? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's just like a more nostalgic.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. And
But
you
it's a
know, I
well
didn't
done
even.
movie. All the Oscars it's nominated for, like it deserves it because it's nominated for like I think like cinematography, set design, costumes, like all that stuff. It's top notch. So I think it should win most of those categories. To be honest.